Hello and welcome to Coffee English. Imagine this: you are in an important meeting. Everyone is waiting for your opinion. You open your mouth and the words come out slowly. Carefully, one by one, you can feel people moving in their chairs. You think they are losing patience. You think they are judging you. You wish you could speak faster, like a native speaker. But what if I told you that in that exact moment, you are doing something more powerful than any fast speaker in the room? What if your slow, careful speech is not a weakness, but a superpower that most people will never have? Today, I want to tell you about a man who spoke slower than almost anyone on earth. 15 words per minute. That is one word every 4 seconds. Some people thought this made him less intelligent. They were completely wrong. His name was Stephen Hawking. And by the time you finish this episode, you will never apologize for speaking slowly again. Let me take you back to 1985. Stephen Hawking was already a famous scientist, but he could still speak with his own voice. Then everything changed. He got very sick with pneumonia during a trip to Switzerland. Doctors had to perform surgery on his throat to help him breathe. This surgery took away his ability to speak naturally. Most people would have given up, but Stephen made a choice that changed science forever. He decided that if he could only say a few words, those words would be perfect. If he could only speak slowly, each word would have maximum meaning. If people had to wait for his thoughts, those thoughts would be worth waiting for. He began using a computer system that let him choose words by moving his hand. Later, when his hand stopped working, he used his cheek muscle. The process was very slow. It took him several minutes to make one complete sentence, but something magical happened. When Stephen spoke, the entire world stopped to listen. His first major public lecture after losing his voice was about the nature of time. People expected him to struggle, to be difficult to understand, to lose the audience's attention. Instead, something amazing happened. The audience was more focused than they had ever been in any lecture. They listened to every single word. They listened with an intensity that fast speakers never achieve. Does this sound familiar to your English experience? You carefully choose your words. You pause to make sure your grammar is correct. You speak slowly because you want to be understood. And sometimes you feel embarrassed about this process. Here is what Stephen discovered and what you are about to discover. When you speak slowly and carefully, you are not showing weakness. You are showing the highest form of communication mastery. You are proving that you value quality over speed, accuracy over performance, and meaning over impression. This is not just about English learning. This is about understanding that the most powerful communicators in history were not the fastest speakers. They were the most thoughtful speakers. Here is the first powerful truth Stephen discovered. When your brain has time to process language deeply, it chooses better words than when it rushes. Before his illness, Stephen spoke quickly like most university professors. He used complex sentences, difficult technical words, and rapid delivery. But when he was forced to slow down, something incredible happened. His language became clearer, more precise, and more beautiful. Each word carried more weight. Each sentence had more impact. Brain science explains exactly why this happens. When we speak quickly, we use what scientists call automatic processing. Our brain grabs the first available words and makes sentences using familiar patterns. But when we speak slowly, we use controlled processing. Our brain has time to search for the most accurate words, the clearest structure, and the most effective way to express our ideas. Think about this in your English learning. When you speak slowly, you are giving your brain time to access all your vocabulary. You can choose between happy and delighted. You can decide whether to use big or enormous. You can build sentences that truly express what you mean instead of just saying what comes first to mind. Research shows that people who speak more slowly use a richer variety of vocabulary and more complex sentence structures. They make fewer grammatical mistakes and communicate their ideas more clearly. This is not because they are more intelligent. It is because they are giving their brain time to do its best work. This principle applies to everything in life. Great chess players do not make quick moves. They take time to consider all possibilities. Master chefs do not rush through recipes. They carefully consider each ingredient and technique. Skilled surgeons do not operate quickly. They work with careful precision. When you speak English slowly, you are joining this group of masters. You are choosing quality over speed. You are choosing precision over performance. You are showing that your ideas are worth the time it takes to express them properly. Native speakers often speak quickly because they are using automatic patterns they learned as children. But you have something they do not have. You have the ability to consciously choose your words. You have developed careful communication skills that many native speakers never learn. The second truth Stephen discovered is that silence can be more powerful than words. His pauses were not empty spaces. They were moments that made his next words more impactful. When Stephen paused for several seconds before speaking, something psychological happened in his audience. They became more focused. They prepared to receive something important. They gave his words more attention than they would give to continuous speech. His pauses trained people to listen more carefully. This is exactly what happens when you speak English with natural pauses. You are not showing uncertainty. You are creating psychological space that makes your words more memorable and more influential. Speech research shows that pauses serve multiple psychological functions. They give listeners time to process complex information. They create emphasis that makes key points stand out. They build anticipation that makes the next words more impactful. They show confidence and control rather than nervousness. Think about the most memorable speakers you know. Great leaders, inspiring teachers, powerful presenters. They all use pauses strategically. They understand that silence can create more impact than continuous talking. In your English conversations, your pauses are doing the same thing. When you pause to think of the right word, you are building anticipation. When you pause to build a clear sentence, you are showing respect for your listener. When you pause to organize your thoughts, you are showing thoughtful communication. Many English learners apologize for these pauses. Sorry, my English is slow. But you should never apologize for thoughtful communication. Instead, own your pauses. Use them confidently. Let them work for you instead of against you. This principle works in many areas of life. Great musicians use silence as effectively as they use sound. Skilled negotiators use pauses to create pressure and emphasis. Master teachers use quiet moments to let important concepts sink in. Your English pauses are not signs of struggle. They are signs of mastery. You are learning to use silence as a tool for more powerful communication. The third truth Stephen discovered is that one perfect word is infinitely more valuable than 3 approximate words. Because Stephen could only produce a few words per minute, he became a master of word selection. He eliminated unnecessary words. He chose precise terms over vague ones. He built sentences with maximum clarity and minimum waste. Every word earned its place in his communication. This constraint transformed him from a good communicator into a great one. His scientific papers became more readable. His lectures became more engaging. His books became bestsellers read by millions of people around the world. By saying less, he communicated more. This is the secret that many fast speakers never learn. They fill their speech with unnecessary words because they can. They use 3 adjectives when one would be more powerful. They build long, complex sentences when short, clear ones would be more effective. They mistake quantity for quality. But when you speak English slowly and carefully, you develop the opposite skill. You learn to choose your words carefully. You discover the power of simple, clear expression. You become a master of efficient communication. Language research shows that the most persuasive and memorable communication uses simple vocabulary and clear structure. Complex language often confuses listeners and weakens your message. But precise, well-chosen words create understanding and influence. Think about this principle in other contexts. The most successful businesses focus on doing a few things excellently rather than many things adequately. The most beautiful art often uses simple elements arranged perfectly. The most effective leaders communicate their vision in clear, memorable phrases. Your slow, careful English is developing this same skill. When you take time to choose the right word, you are learning precision. When you build clear sentences, you are learning efficiency. When you eliminate unnecessary words, you are learning power. Many native speakers never develop these skills because they never face the constraint of limited speed. They can speak quickly, so they never learn to speak precisely. But you are developing communication abilities that will make you more effective than people who simply speak fast. Quality always defeats quantity in the long term. One clear, well-chosen English sentence will have more impact than 10 fast, unclear ones. The fourth and most powerful truth Stephen discovered is that people remember careful speakers far better than rapid speakers. When Stephen gave lectures, people did not just understand his ideas. They remembered them years later. Students could quote his exact words long after the lecture ended. His slow, careful delivery created lasting impressions that fast speakers rarely achieve. Brain science explains why this happens. When we hear rapid speech, our brain focuses on keeping up with the flow of words. We understand the general meaning, but we do not process individual words deeply. But when we hear careful speech, our brain has time to encode each word more completely. We form stronger memories of both the words and the ideas. This is why the most quotable speakers in history were not the fastest talkers. They were the most thoughtful ones. Their careful delivery made their words stick in people's minds and hearts. Think about famous speeches that people still remember decades later. I have a dream. Ask not what your country can do for you. One small step for man. These speakers did not rush through their words. They delivered them with careful power that made them unforgettable. Your slow English speech is creating the same effect. When you speak carefully, people pay more attention to your words. They process your ideas more deeply. They remember your contributions to conversations. Your thoughtful delivery makes you more memorable than people who speak quickly but without impact. Research in communication psychology shows that listeners perceive careful speakers as more credible, more intelligent, and more trustworthy than rapid speakers. Slow speech signals that the speaker has thought carefully about their words and believes those words are worth the listener's time. This principle applies beyond language learning. In job interviews, candidates who speak thoughtfully make better impressions than those who rush through their answers. In presentations, speakers who pace themselves effectively engage their audience more successfully. In personal relationships, people who communicate carefully build deeper connections. Your English speaking style is developing these same advantages. Every time you choose words carefully, you are building credibility. Every time you speak at your natural pace, you are showing confidence. Every time you prioritize clarity over speed, you are creating more powerful communication. Do not try to speak as fast as native speakers. Develop your own careful speaking style that makes every word count. Stephen Hawking once explained his life's work in one simple sentence: "My goal is simple. It is a complete understanding of the universe." These 12 words captured the essence of decades of complex research. This was not accident. This was mastery. Notice the power in these simple words. No complex vocabulary, no technical jargon, no rushed delivery. Just clear, careful communication that anyone could understand and everyone would remember. This is what happens when you master the art of slow, thoughtful speech. This is your English secret. Do not try to impress people with speed. Impress them with clarity. Do not worry about sounding like a native speaker. Focus on sounding like yourself, speaking thoughtfully. Do not apologize for taking time to find the right words. Celebrate the fact that you care enough to choose them carefully. When you adopt this mindset, everything about your English communication changes. You stop rushing to fill silence with uncertain words. You start using pauses as tools for emphasis and clarity. You stop worrying about your speaking speed and start focusing on your speaking quality. You stop feeling embarrassed about your careful style and start recognizing it as a strength. The most successful English learners understand this principle. They do not try to speak as fast as possible. They develop their natural speaking rhythm until it becomes powerful and effective. They own their thoughtful communication style instead of apologizing for it. If this episode has changed how you think about your English speaking speed, I want to celebrate that transformation with you. Leave a comment below and share a time when speaking slowly actually helped you communicate better than speaking fast would have. Maybe you gave a presentation, had an important conversation, or explained something complex. How did your careful pace make the communication more effective? And if this episode helped you embrace your natural speaking rhythm, give it a like to help other learners discover the power of thoughtful communication. Remember, Stephen Hawking became one of the most influential scientists in history, not despite his slow speech, but because of it. His constraint became his strength. His limitation became his superpower. His careful communication style made him unforgettable. You have the same opportunity with your English. Your careful word choice is not a weakness. It is a sign that you value precision. Your natural speaking pace is not too slow. It is perfectly calibrated for maximum impact. Your thoughtful pauses are not awkward silences. They are powerful communication tools. The next time someone speaks faster than you in English, do not feel intimidated. Remember that speed is not the goal. Clarity is the goal. Connection is the goal. Understanding is the goal. And these goals are achieved better through thoughtful communication than through rapid speech. Your English journey is teaching you skills that many native speakers never develop. You are learning to choose words carefully. You are developing the ability to communicate complex ideas simply. You are mastering the art of careful, powerful speech. These are not consolation prizes for speaking slowly. These are superpowers that will serve you throughout your life. Like Stephen Hawking exploring the universe one word at a time, you are exploring the English language with the same careful mastery. Every word you choose carefully is a star in your personal constellation of communication. Every pause you use effectively is space that gives your ideas room to shine. Every sentence you build thoughtfully is a step toward complete understanding. So speak at your natural pace. Choose your words with care. Use pauses as tools of power. Trust that your thoughtful communication style will take you further than rushed speech ever could. This is not just language learning. This is communication mastery. Thank you for joining me today on Coffee English. Remember, the universe waited billions of years to create the conditions for life. Your ideas deserve the few extra seconds it takes to express them perfectly. Keep speaking thoughtfully. Keep choosing quality over speed. Keep exploring the infinite power of careful communication. Until next time, let every word you speak in English be as careful and powerful as Stephen Hawking reaching for the stars. Take care and see you in the next episode.